Good evening, fellow heretics. Welcome to tonight's show. I'm your host, Captain Dadpool.
And I'm Natty Nat.
And you are watching Nerds and Heresy.
Hold on to your butts.
All right. Hello, everyone. We are joined tonight with CapWithoutaCountry. And to avoid CapWithoutaCountry.
Yeah.
To avoid the confusion,
That's the one.
he's going with Tony.
Tony!
What's your name?
Tony! What's your name?
All right.
Ezekiel! Fuck you, Tony!
Fuck you, Ezekiel!
Tony, where can everybody find you?
I am most found on TikTok, CapWithoutaCountry there. And if you go through the link tree, the funny thing is I am my own name everywhere else. Nowhere near as known on any of those other platforms. But my real name is on all of them.
That's how you do it.
Well, that's different than us. I mean, granted, Ricky's put his full name out there, but I have not done that.
It was completely by accident. This account was supposed to be for cosplay. I have done almost no cosplay. And so that's why I didn't use my regular name. It was specifically the CapWithoutaCountry, the nomad version of Captain America from Infinity War, when he didn't have the shield and he had the beard. And the beard was specifically what inspired me to do that cosplay. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll use TikTok for cosplay stuff. And then didn't. But got the biggest following of any of my platforms. So I was like, well, I can't change my name now. Like I'm CapWithoutaCountry now. But I'm myself everywhere else.
Yeah, I started my account making like political commentary and jokes before I even started talking about religion and deconstruction. And like I made the one video that went viral and got me a bunch of followers, and I was like, I can't change my name now. It's like, but it works. It works. It's
right.
Yeah.
We trapped ourselves.
What am I going to change it to? Another like atheist person, something like
right.
What else am I gonna?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
we trapped ourselves in our own popularity.
Yeah.
I'm not popular.
We embraced it. It's like a weird bass-backwards form of Stockholm syndrome.
You're right.
It's like, we're here now. This is who we are now. This is my whole personality. And I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to run with it.
Right. Didn't Bill Murray make a comment like that? He said, we don't say be right back anymore because we live here now.
Ooh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Did not hear that.
Yeah. It might not have been. I think it was Bill Murray. Yeah. He said, we don't say be right back.
That'd be traumatizing.
Right. We live here now. We don't leave. This is where we live.
Oh, my.
We are our avatars.
Correct.
I'm a little mind blown at the moment. Hold on. I have to accept this.
This could be a religious concept. It's like, realistically, it's like your online persona is your spirit. It is the incorporeal projection of yourself. Your meat suit is this thing that sits back here and records or live streams or sends out the image telepathically, electronically to all of the recipients. So in a way, the internet has created spirits.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
wait, hold the fucking phone. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having a fucking epiphany right now.
The internet has created memes, not like meme memes, but like the philosophical concept.
So which one would we consider to be real? The meat suit or the projection of an idea?
So, I mean, that's almost Aristotelian, where he talks about the difference between the form of a thing and the essence of a thing.
Oh, man.
I specifically have I have an email address that I occasionally send videos to, where I know, assuming there's not an EMP or something, these videos are going to exist after I die. So I have videos that I record that are specifically meant to be viewed after I am dead. As in, like,
what?
It is my echo speaking. And so I would argue that the electronic version of ourselves, this video, will be on YouTube after the three of us have shuffled loose the mortal coil. That is arguably the more real thing. Now, without the meat suit, you can't make the video, but...
Sorry, I'm still absorbing. I'm just... I guess, okay, so this gets into the philosophy of, like,
These are the things I think about in my car. That's like, I record in my car. These are the things I think about in the driver's side of my car.
Yeah, Prototype Sky. I need what he's smoking too. I am in need of a little help.
Right.
Yeah, that's if I could bottle it up and sell it, I would 100%. And see, it's almost funny because it's like the fact that we have different personas on different platforms is almost like we have this spiritual form of like DID. We almost have multiple spiritual personalities.
Right, because like every time, so like I'm going to use fucking Jeff as an example. Yes, Randy. Yeah. But like every time Jeff gets banned, he puts another one up. Like nobody's business. He's another phone. Yeah, just.
Oh, he's a phoenix. He's reborn every time.
I wonder if in the future, if there's going to be like the advent of like cyber archaeology, like
absolutely there will
go to
like
absolutely who go to reconstruct like who a figure was from history. So they have to dig through the billions of TikTok videos and everything else in order to find that one person and then try to reconstruct their life and figure out who they were and what they were about and how they helped humanity or hurt it.
Well, don't they basically have stuff that does that now? Like it trolls your social media to try to target you for commercial purposes? Like that's why you'll get emails about products. You're like, I didn't search that.
Right, but like you said it.
Right. Yeah, you made a video where you just happened to mention this thing. Or like, I know my Alexa's listening.
What if there's a time where there's like an apocalypse and the power grid fails, internet's gone, shit tons of people die, and then they start figuring it back out, repopulate the earth, rebuild, and then they recreate the internet. And then they're like, holy shit, the internet was here before. What was the internet like back then? So now they gotta like dig up and they'll find like old floppy disks like buried under like sediment layers.
I wasn't. Oh my god!
They'll find Oregon Trail.
Yeah, yeah.
I did not know apparently what the original floppy disk was. I thought it was the little square thing with the floppy and no, they were bigger.
Oh, yeah, they were
bigger. I was told I was young. It kind of made me happy, but at the same time, they were like, "Yeah, remember floppy disks when they were like floppy?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm inside of the little brick thing." It's like, no, like a file. You like pull
the whole thing was floppy, not just the disk inside.
Well, you do know historically before the 5-inch floppy disks what they stored computer information on.
You still use these big floppy disks will still be around. They might be, sadly.
They used to store it on punch cards. Right? Like
the
huge boxes,
pull it out and then tick.
Stick it in the computer.
That was like play your piano bullshit. That was so cool.
Yeah.
That's neat. Yeah.
Well, I don't think they'll still be around. I think they will find them buried under layer upon layer of like sedimentary rock. And they'll have to like try and restore them and recover the data that's on it.
That'll be fascinating with them trying to recover the data. That'd be
does the laws of conservation, they apply to matter and energy? Do they apply to information? Like, can information be created or destroyed?
Information is technically matter,
right? So it can change.
Data
form.
has weight.
Yeah, it can change form, but technically, all the data that we have created, the entirety of the internet, that information will always exist. It'll just be accessing it.
Yep, in a different form.
Right.
I'm still kind of hold on.
They'll have to sync up to the cloud. They'll invent the internet. What the fuck is the cloud?
What?
Can we backtrack a second? I want to talk about how information and data has weight. Like, Are we talking about like the actual concept of information, like the idea of it, or are we talking about actual information and gigabytes and like numeral codes that are put onto disks?
Yeah, data has mass. Like the internet has weight. It's not very much.
What?
But yeah. Yeah.
I am not okay. This is how do I not know this?
This is what happened to my brain when I read The Theory of Everything, and I learned that gravity doesn't pull things.
Yeah.
It creates wells.
Yeah, and you just kind of fall into it. Yeah,
and you're spinning, you're moving in a straight line through curved space.
Mm-hmm.
That put a new wrinkle in my brain. So
that was a little wrinkle in my brain. I enjoyed that. The thing is, like, it's not very often that I come across concepts that are really hard for me to grasp.
Mm-hmm.
Just because after my fucking meltdown that I had during environmental perspectives in my freshman year of college, where I was like, everything's gonna burn, we're all gonna die, and geologic time means that we mean nothing. And I was like, I'm sorry, hold on, allow me to take a moment. Let's take a step back for a second. Geologic time means that like all of human existence means nothing. We are a snap. Like that was already too long to explain human existence. And I'm just like, right? So I have a complete meltdown. But now it's like anytime someone's like, yeah, a few thousand years, and I'll be like, yeah, plus or minus a few million. Like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, the margin of error is huge.
Yeah, I've been reading up on tensed versus tenseless time theory, because like the Kalam cosmological argument is presupposes that time is tensed, that is, time is linear, there's a future, there's a past. But general relativity suggests that time is actually tenseless, which means there was no beginning. So the analogy is like, say you're standing and then there's arrows on the ground pointing forward and there's arrows behind me pointing backwards. Say, okay, these arrows are pointing towards the future, those ones are pointing towards the past. Well, like now step over the line and look at it perpendicularly. Now there's just lines going this way and this. There's lines that are or arrows that are sooner and arrows that are later. And that's a completely different way, and probably a more accurate way of
time is different in different locations, which is really fascinating, but also completely constructed by the person and or individual in that location at that time.
Mm-hmm. Time is relative. It's a bowl of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Hey! I haven't even gotten far enough to hear that quote in Doctor Who yet. Okay, no spoilers.
Oh, it's such a good episode.
I'm working on it.
You are in for a treat.
Working on that.
I envy you the ability to see that for the first. I love rewatching that episode, but like the ability to see that episode again for the first time would be.
I'm on season 2, episode like 5, I think.
Oh, okay.
I am new.
I remember where that is.
I just finished. Well, I'm 2 episodes beyond The Girl in the Fireplace.
Oh, okay.
So that was.
And that one was pretty good too. I just love Tennant. David Tennant was fantastic.
David Tennant is a wonderful human being, and I love him very much.
He is amazing.
I have a photo.
You never watched Doctor Who? It's a big investment unless you can compartmentalize and go, oh, I'm just going to watch 9 or I'm just going to watch 12. Like if you're a completionist, you're like, oh, I have to watch 26 seasons and then I have to watch 13.
Yeah, that's
more
me.
seasons.
I'm a completionist.
So I am every Tuesday. Every Monday night I have a Doctor Who night where I watch at least one episode. And that's all I allow myself.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
Yep. I caught all the way up to
9 or 12 episodes at a time.
Yeah. I watched a season yesterday.
Oh, Good Omens is good too. You watched a whole season?
No. Not yesterday. I have done that.
There are some things I can do that with. Doctor Who doesn't feel like one of the things I could do that with.
Yeah,
I can watch 1 or 2 episodes and I'm like, ooh, interesting concept, and then just walk away.
Yeah. I think those seasons are 10 or 12 episodes, 12 or 13 episodes. So you could, in theory. I wouldn't recommend it. We were talking about you said something about geological time that tripped me. Oh, the idea that so with geological time, it implies that humans like mathematically have existed for a fraction of an instant, almost nothing.
Fraction of a second,
yeah. One of my favorite arguments to make about why what we do in life, even if there is an afterlife, why what we do in life is absolutely meaningless, is because if the religious argument that your soul always exists, always existed, and always will exist, then your soul is infinite. It's either eternal or infinite, but we'll say it's infinite. You're on Earth for 100 years. 100 over infinity is 0. So your soul is trapped in your physical body for 0% of its existence. So how can anything you do during 0% of your existence matter?
I like this math. This math makes me happy.
It's soul math.
I like where this is going. Continue, enjoy. More.
Yeah.
Give me more.
Give me more. Give me more soul math.
I want more soul math,
math.
please. Please give me soulmate math. I need it.
Is that like soul food?
Is it like
It's
soul
yes.
math?
I'm going to say yes. It's the fuel for the soul math.
It's the fuel for soul math.
Mm.
Now I want fried chicken.
Well, little jerk chicken goes a long way.
This is very true. This is very true.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, so yeah, we're having all these deep conversations. This is lovely. How about you tell us how you became, or how you ended up believing the way you do now, like, that you are within the.
Tell us your story. You said backstage you're raised Catholic.
How I came back. How I came
Catholic with the whole hand thing.
I did. Well, I describe it as how I came back around because you know we all start off not believing anything, and then
but we're taught to.
We're either taught or we acquire through our experiences whatever we happen to believe about the world. And I grew up Catholic, Catholic family, Catholic. Am I saying Catholic community? And but a fairly progressive. So I know a lot of people who have had a lot of religious trauma, and I don't really remember having that sort of thing. Like,
good. Maybe,
yeah, right.
Maybe you've repressed it though.
That's entirely
a fun thought, isn't it?
Well,
to think, I don't remember because it was that bad.
we can get to that part later. One of the reasons I started therapy in my late 30s was because I didn't remember a whole lot of my childhood, and that specifically was my concern.
Same. I have no memories of my childhood. It's weird.
Right. Yeah.
Like maybe like a handful of little maybe things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and my immediate instinct was like, "Oh God, what happened to me?" And I still say, "Oh God," but I was like, "Oh God, what happened to me in my past to make me forget like 20 years worth of stuff?" Mm-hmm. And in therapy, the therapist was like, "Your brain doesn't remember stuff that's not relevant to, like, your brain files it. It's like something happens and you're like, okay, I use this for as long as I need it, and then it just discards it. It just, you know." And he's like, the reason you don't remember,
like thinking about my own situation, like I didn't really have anything big or traumatic happen to me when I was growing up. You know, I had a decent growing up. Could have been better. Could have been much worse. But like, so yeah, that makes sense. Your brain just discards it because it's not relevant.
Yeah, it's not useful or particularly interesting. Your brain is like a dragon. What's up?
Christianity causes memory loss? How is that possible?
Right. Yeah, your brain's like a dragon. It keeps what it finds interesting and it gets rid of the rest. And so, yeah, like I grew up in a pretty progressive Catholic community, and so questioning thinking wasn't discouraged. Wasn't necessarily encouraged, but it wasn't discouraged. And but I specifically remember, and these were like memories that retroactively I can pinpoint and be like, that's when this happened. But at the time, I obviously didn't understand it as that. But I remember when I was in second grade, and Sister Lorraine, who was one of the nuns of the school that I went to, who became the principal later. I don't remember. It was a discussion about specifically religion, and she said we were talking about how to get into heaven. And it's like in second grade, we're specifically talking about the idea of works versus faith. And I remember her saying, well, yeah, to get into heaven, you just have to believe in Jesus. No caveats, no, like you have to earn it. You have to accept this, like, no idea of debt, just you have to believe in Jesus. And I remember thinking in second grade, oh, I can make myself do that. And now it is very clear to me now that was my brain understanding. I didn't believe this thing, but it's like, oh, I can convince myself that that's true. I can just tell myself I believe in Jesus if that's all I have to do.
That's really impressive that you have a memory, like a core memory of you remembering this.
Yeah, like, and it's only
really
those two.
interesting. It's like it all started with me lying to myself on
Yeah,
this
right.
plane
Yeah,
in
yeah.
second grade.
Well, and I feel like my brain saved that information specifically because it's like, this is going to be important. Like my brain knew where it came from. I remember her saying that, and I remember thinking that in that moment. And then the moment that I realized that I didn't believe, the moment that I realized I accepted that I didn't believe. So I told you that when I was in middle school, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and it took about a year, I made a family tree from Adam to Jesus with not a pedigree line, but the full family tree, specifically by the Bible, with all the cousins and everybody. And all the concubines
in there, isn't it?
and all the concubines and the twisting parts. Yeah.
It's pretty.
yeah.
It's like it like it's. Yeah.
There's some forking and there's some doubling back and there was some inappropriate forking, shall we say?
Inappropriate forking. You heard it.
Step bro, I'm stuck. Lots of that going on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But in the process of doing this, obviously read the entirety of the Bible cover to cover, and it was after that, but it wasn't too terribly long after that. I remember having a dream, and in the dream, my dream self knew I was in hell. I was surrounded by flame, and I was in hell. But the flame didn't burn. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know I'm in hell and I know this is fire, but it doesn't hurt. And as I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about the fact that it doesn't hurt, the fire turned into wallpaper that was printed with fire. And I was in a room with fire painted on the walls. And this guy comes in who I know in the dream is the devil. And I asked him, I'm like, is this hell? And he's like, kinda. And I was like, so hell's not hell? And he's like, no, but it takes a lot of people a long time to figure that out. And he leaves. And I woke up, like, that was the entire dream. And I remember waking up feeling lighter. Like I felt like I had accepted something. And it wasn't that, like, it wasn't an objective understanding of anything. It was that I understood that I didn't believe. And that specifically, like later on, my interpretation of it was that my brain considered religion to be an illusion. It was a trick by people to make other people think things, to make them do things. And so when I understood, what I think of as hell is not actually a fiery pit, it's a room painted to look like flames, was the moment of going, oh, I don't actually believe that. I don't believe in hell.
Huh.
So retroactively, those two moments are kind of when I realized, one, I didn't believe, and then one, when I accepted that I didn't believe.
That's me.
So dreams.
So yeah, dreams are weird. Ricky knows this. I've had some dreams where I'm like, I have been affected. I had a weird dream. I mean, I have very, very. I dream in color. I have lucid dreams. And this is like a normal, regular thing for me. Like I'm able to read in a lot of my dreams, not all of them, but a lot of them. So there are things that I can do in my dreams that like most people can't do, which is weird. But then there are dreams that I don't, where like I'm not lucid, where things happen to me, and those are the ones that affect me the most. Because like I've had some really weird dreams where like I've died and I've met my dad, and he's like, "Great, you're here," and then he disappears, and I'm just like.
Like he needed you to take over?
Like, kind of, but like, it was like, wait, was this not the end? Is this not like the stopping point?
Right,
was this not like where we stopped?
Yeah.
And like, it messed with me because he's like, great, you're here. Like gives me a hug and then he's gone. And I'm like,
like it's a chair that has to be filled, and now that you showed up, he can go do what he wants.
Like, oh yeah, purgatory. It's like it's your turn now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I have tried to learn how to lucid dream. I tried it one time, and I tried really concertedly.
I never learned. I simply did. Like, it wasn't until I was in a psychology class talking about dreaming that, like, my professor's like, So how many people here have like thought about dreaming? Like they ask you like go home, do a dream journal for like 3 nights, and then come back and then like talk about the dreams that you had.
Okay.
And I remember it's like everyone in class was like, I don't remember being in color. Like maybe like 10% of the class saw in color. And then the other one's like, how many people lucid dream, or how many people have like make decisions and are able to change things at will in your dream? And I was like, I can. And they were like, so have you like had practice with this? I was like, no, I just thought that's how people dream.
Like, you're right. Yeah.
Is that,
yeah.
is that not how that works?
Right. Yeah.
Like anytime that there's a dream where I don't have control, that to me is a nightmare, and I will switch it to lucid dreaming very quickly.
That's
or
cool.
I'll wake up.
Right.
One or the other.
Yeah.
But,
I had a dream.
I thought everyone could do that, and apparently that's not a thing. Also, reading in a dream, apparently not a thing.
Can you read languages you don't know in your dreams?
Sometimes, yes.
Cool. Have you ever learned something in a dream, like taught yourself something?
Yes.
That's like Matrix level. That's like I'm downloading this information.
Like I figured something out. So I remember dreaming in French because I was in French class and everything. But I was having a very difficult time with, like, this was very early. This was like high school. But I remember having a dream where I was like looking at the different tenses and the different like past participles and everything. Right. And while I was in the dream, I was like going through and practicing it. And then something just clicked and I was able to speak fluently, like with the past participles. So I was like,
and you woke
in past tense, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Nice. And you woke up with that. So you woke up with that.
Yeah, now I can.
And see, that's what I always thought dreams. I've always considered dreams to be that. It's your brain processing. It's like the like maintenance processing that your brain does at the end of the day, choosing which memories it's going to keep and which it's going to discard, and processing stuff that you've been working on.
I actually use my dreams to help me study, which is also something weird. So like right now I'm prepping and doing stuff with soil science. And every day I try to read like at least a few pages of stuff, answer some study guide questions, just like classes haven't started yet. I'm just trying to get myself absorbed. And like, I'll look at some stuff and I'll have some questions and I'll stop at something that doesn't make sense to me. I'll read through it a few times and then I'll just stop. And the next day I should figure it out.
Put it in the brain file. Right.
Yeah. It's just floating around back there. Something's going to correlate and it's going to snap together. And the next day I can go back, read it, be like, that totally makes sense, and move on.
You said you had I keep like, I'm pointing in the wrong directions.
Yeah.
Ricky,
yeah.
Dad.
Yeah.
Dad.
Daddy Pool. You were about to say you had a dream.
Oh shit! Yeah. I had a dream. I was being like force choked, and like not in a good way.
I was gonna say this is not going
like someone
NSFW
was strangling me.
Okay.
And I can't remember why. I remember it was in like a forest. Details don't matter. But like I could not breathe in the dream, and I felt it. Like I felt, and I woke up at one point, gasping for air. Like I had actually stopped breathing in real life. And like that's why I woke up from the dream, because I had stopped breathing and I just started like I just come out of water, for being under there just a little bit too long.
Right.
So I actually died in one of my dreams a while back.
I died in my dreams too.
No,
I don't remember if I ever had. I don't
woke up and I found out my pacemaker had gone off.
Oh, that's different.
Well, and that's what I think sometimes. Like I think your brains are like, you stopped breathing. You probably had like an apnea thing in the middle of the night, and so your brain translated that information into a dream form where something was choking you. It was your brain's reaction to your body, not the other way around.
Oh, mine was I was falling, and then I actually hit the rocks at the bottom, like that smack, and I felt it, and that was literally my pacemaker. Well, not my pacemaker. That was my cardiogram, my defibrillator hitting me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that was kind of nuts.
Yeah. Well, it also like makes me think of the idea of inception, the way that thought time is different than physical time.
Right.
Because your brain will translate in that instant, it will translate that physical sensation into an entire narrative that's trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
thing physically happened in one instant.
Because dreams only last like a fraction of a second, like the entire thing, right?
Right.
And
And I've lived
like
weeks.
3 minutes or something. But yeah.
Yeah,
3
I've
minutes.
experienced weeks in dream time.
Same
And I
here.
know that
I've
that
had
happened in a
so
minute.
much time to do shit in dreams. It's
Yeah.
so weird. And like at the same time, I'm just like, okay, I'm done now, and I'll just wake up.
That'd be nice.
So like, I'm bored, and I'll wake up. Oh, hey. Oh, no.
If I could lucid dream, I would never purposely wake myself up. I'd be like, well, what are we gonna go do now? Because I can do whatever I want.
See, I never have that inclination. It's more like I will wake up in my dream, or like I'll be in a situation that I didn't personally create, like my brain did, or like I'm in a situation that I didn't put myself in. And then I piece my way out of it very easily, just changing things left and right as needed. And then like half the time I get hungry. And I go to make food somewhere.
Your brain gives you mental escape rooms.
Yeah.
To work your way out of in a dream.
No, all of them are like puzzles. It's great though. Like nice. There are some really weird, like I have a lot of them on recordings, and then there's some that are like the beginning of like a Neil Gaiman story, and I'm like, oh, I should make a book out of this. This is really cool. And I'll like start piecing it together. And there's times when I'm like, I want to be invisible and follow someone around, so I fucking do. And I watch another person like they're having a dream, and I'm watching their dream.
Nice.
And that is trippy. Let me tell you, like I've woken up where I'm just like, oh, that guy has some really fucked up things going on. I don't know who that is, but I hope I never see him.
Yeah, and I don't believe in the Jungian, what the collective unconscious, but like I'm fascinated by that idea, the mythology of the collective unconscious, where like
the metaverse is typing.
Everyone dreams within a same dreamscape. So everyone's dreams are occurring in the same sort of psychometric realm, and people that you encounter, NPCs you encounter in your dream, are other people. I don't believe that, but I love the idea.
That would be really cool, but it would also be really fucked up considering the things that I've like just randomly done to people where I'm like, I don't like you very much.
Someone else woke up.
And I like snap and they're gone.
Yeah. Someone else woke up and they were like, what just happened? I got wiped out by a gnat.
Yeah. No, oh God, yeah. So like I need to write down my dream last night was weird. It was I don't even know how to explain that one. That one was weird. I was like Van Helsing and I was hunting fairies. It was weird. It was just weird shit.
That's one.
Yeah, but like the telltale sign of a fairy is bioluminescence, not like, oh look, they're a fairy. No, it's like you actually have like shine lights on them and shit. It's like, and they have like very distinct lines down there. Oh my God, it was so interesting.
So it's like D&D CSI.
Kind of, yeah.
So what are my most?
I need to write that one down a little bit. Last night's stream was interesting.
My probably most memorable dream I've ever had. It's pretty trippy, and you could make a whole fucking movie out of it. So I was like this. I don't know what I'd call it.
Was this the rock climbing one?
This godlike character or something, and I had a partner, and we had a job. Our job was to go find people who had like everything they ever wanted, like they're filthy rich, and they're assholes, and they treat everybody like shit. Our job was to take them and put them in a simulation, like while they're asleep, take their dream state self or whatever, and then pull it in and put it into a simulation where everything just is suddenly taken from them. Like we put them in a dream and they're themselves, they have everything, and like something horrible happens and they lose all of it. And then we wait there until they're just a shadow of their former self, broken down to nothing. And then we put them back in their body so that they can go about living their life.
I love it.
That's fucking amazing. I'm gonna.
That's a dream I had.
Yeah, so that's like taking Job.
Destruction. That's
taking Job, the story of Job, and combining it with like the destruction of capitalism.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's that. I had that dream when I was a teenager, and like I've never forgotten it. was like, holy
Oh,
shit.
that's definitely worth writing. That could be a D&D campaign, but me and Nat were talking about we need to make a campaign where the characters all go on a quest to kill the gods, but it's all the players are skeptics, non-believers, and atheists.
Yeah.
And our goal is to kill
I am God. Why are you God?
Yeah. And we're not going to replace him. We're not trying to ascend. We are trying to tear down the goddess, the theodicy.
Yeah. It's like, why do we need to worship you? You're here. I get that. You exist.
Yeah.
Great. Why do I have to worship you?
Yeah, you do stuff. We also do stuff.
Great. We all do stuff.
Yeah.
What makes you so important?
Yeah. You created it. Cool. It's here. We don't need you here anymore. We'll maintain it.
It's fine.
Yeah. We'll destroy you, or you could just leave on your own.
Yeah. And then the boss battle happens.
That's it. My persuasion's like +4. That'll work, right?
It's like, surprise attack. Surprise attacks can't happen to God. He knows everything.
Yeah, right. Oh, we got a stat an omniscient being.
Right? Oh no. He
No
knows
sneak
he's gonna
attack.
die, so why is he fighting?
Okay, so part of the quest is going to have to be at least one of us is going to have to achieve omniscience.
Right? Oh,
Because if two people see, that's a story I wanted to write one time.
Wizard. You know
what if one's omnipotent, another one's omnipresent, another one's omniscient, another one's omnitemporal, and another one's
Can I be
omnibenevolent?
translucent?
Right, you're right. That's the party. It's the party of omnis. But because one being can't be all of those things, each one in the party, that's the quest, is for each of them to individually achieve their omni.
I would like to achieve omni through nirvana.
Yeah. At least one of us is going to be omni annoying.
Omni annoying. That's me.
Oh, fine. Oh, rock paper scissors. You for omni annoying.
Rock, paper, scissors, bitch. I will throw a rock at you.
I'll be omni sarcastic.
Got a whole jar of them right here.
That's it. I got my math rocks. That's how I stem.
I also have math rocks right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Perfect. Yep.
I have all of the things.
I like it. Yeah, I had a story one time, and I say one time, it's still in the back of my head, but it involved two characters that were who could both see the future. And it was the idea of like how does the ability of your ability to see the future gives you the ability potentially to alter it. But if two people can see the future and two people can alter it, what does that do to each of their abilities to see the future? Because if I can change the future, now whatever you're seeing, are you seeing the changed future? Are you seeing the unchanged future? Are you seeing two possible futures? It's almost like a quantum mechanical play on that idea. Oh, I wouldn't want to see. Maybe that's what Nostradamus did. He saw multiple potential futures. That's why he was so confused.
Well, maybe that's why he wrote all of those different answers for different times in a book.
Right. Like technically,
this will happen in this future.
Right. Technically, all prophecies are true. It just depends on which timeline you wind up in.
Right? Can you imagine like all of his prophecies coming true, and like there's one universe where that prophecy, like every single one of his prophecies came true, and he is God. Like he would be the new Jesus.
He ascended. Yep. The Lich Nostradamus.
Yes. Nostradamus is amazing.
Yeah.
Lichstradamus.
Lichstradamus.
He's a French. He was a French. He was basically the Rasputin for the French monarchy for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to write a bunch of really, really vague poems and present them as predictions. Oh. Yeah, these are my prophecies. Right.
That's awesome. That'll be fun.
Well,
what kind of poems will they be limericks? I really hope they're all limericks.
Yeah.
Limericks. All limericks.
Haikus. Yeah. Make them all haikus.
All haikus.
All the haikus.
They're all about a man from Nantucket.
You had to chuck it in the bucket.
Yes. Yes,
chuck it in the bucket.
Chuck it in the bucket.
That's what we call our trash cans at work.
That is, yeah. Well, that's what we do too. It's like anytime they're like, "Do you need this?" I'm like, "No, chuck it in the bucket."
And we have one that, well, no, the one that's at my desk I call the inbox. And if someone's giving me something I don't want, I pick it up and I say, yeah, go ahead and file that in my inbox. Yeah.
What's going on, Titan?
Bold of you to assume that we're all humans. They shifted.
Yeah.
Did you just assume my species?
Did you just assume my species?
Why don't you go ahead and assume my
Cancel.
genome and file us while you're at it?
D&D, what one D&D has done away with the races, haven't they? Now it's lineages.
Now it's what?
Lineages, I believe.
Is it really? I don't
Yeah.
know.
So like
I
if you
thought
want
the races were still a
D&D's
thing,
gone woke.
Yeah, because
Cancel
the
D&D.
races are species now, aren't they? And then there's lineages between the species.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know Arcana Press had published a book called Ancestry and Lineage, an alternative to race in 5e a couple of years ago. And it was specifically that if you didn't want to use the idea of race, you could have a character who like had elf ancestry and dwarvish ancestry and orc ancestry. And so then you would pick.
I feel like that gets really complicated, and also you could cheat very easily with that.
Yeah, well, and that's why they had a whole book that basically it outlined how you pick which traits. So you're gonna take this ability score from this parent and this, but you can't get all of both. You can get pieces of both in order to kind of, and yeah, it's definitely there's a potential for some power gaming. But that's what it's all about.
Can you stop? Cat's fucking with my printer.
I was just gonna say that sounds like cat
pages.
shenanigans.
Yeah, my printer's printing out test pages because my cat's walking across it.
Oh no!
Stop.
I was gonna ask if that was Binks, but I think that's Jackson's cat is Binks.
You're wasting ink.
Yes, Jackson's cat is Binks. It's not technically Jackson's cat. It was Jackson's roommate's cat named Binks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he has Rex and
Valkyrie, Sage, Banshee, and Toby.
yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. Rex. So Rex is one of your.
Rex is the kitten.
He's right here.
because he wrecks shit.
Fuck Rex.
Ah!
He's a kitten.
It's a floof.
It's a flu.
And the chillest floof.
Oh, he is a nightmare. Like, he's the cuddliest. He's got like split personality disorder. He's like the sweetest, cuddliest kid, and then he's just fucking feral. Like as by every sense of the definition, he will just go feral and fuck everything up in his path.
That's yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like
I realistically, all cats are feral. They just play along.
yeah, he chooses when to play along.
Yeah.
And when and when not to play along.
Right. He wrecks everything. That's what he does.
Yeah.
We got a couple people holding math rocks. I've realized that's when I and
Morgan, he's a cat. Literally all of them do that.
Again, I have 5 cats. He is
Morgan has 6.
He's built different. This one's built different. You know, I have a pretty healthy frame of reference. He's built different.
Kittens. Although I don't know where the kittens went.
Well, maybe he has youngest child syndrome. Like he's acting out because he wants the attention. All of his older siblings are getting
He's gonna try and be dominant. I can see him like becoming the dominant cat in the house, or wanting to be, and getting into a lot of trouble trying.
Yeah, it's true. That's it. Dustin has done this to me with his emotional trauma. That when we're playing, I am stimming by like rolling the d20s. But it's the d20s that have rolled bad for me. So if I rolled a low score, that's my dice jail. You now are my stim dice.
It's not a bad system.
Yeah, I'm ready for more emotional trauma though.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, and so we need to homebrew up a specifically a type of damage, emotional damage. It's like psychic damage, but
let's not. Let's not.
We always use psychic damage.
Charles, you have an amazing cat named Manchester who is like the cutest fluff ball, and you can't say anything. Cat is like having a toddler that can reach the top cabinets and the shelves. It's like he has his cat. He got his kitten from like a litter of like wild cats that were out in the area, and his kitten is like What's the name of the cats that are like fucking huge that people are obsessed with? I can't think of the name of them right now.
I know what you're talking about.
Not Savannah cats.
No,
Maine Coons.
Maine Coons. His cat looks like a Maine Coon, like almost like a purebred Maine Coon. Like it has
It's like a Craig cat,
and it's like huge already, and he's not even 6 months yet. And he's fucking huge.
Nice. I already love him. I've never even met him.
He likes to play with my hair. It's adorable.
Two of our we have 3 cats. 2 of them are literal rescues. One of them is rescued from a shelter, the newest one, the baby. The other 2, one was found in a ditch with a litter. And the other one I literally found on our road driving home from work. He was palm-sized. He was only a couple of weeks old. And so nature throws cats at us. Nature's like, look, I need you to take care of this one. And we're like, okay. But yeah, Buddy.
Do that to me more often.
Yeah. Buddy is he's our black cat. And then Jasmine is the newest one. She is another black cat. They don't get along. Fluffy is the first one. He was from the ditch. And he is like, Fluffy's. When they're tussling with each other, we pretend that they're arguing about who's more street, because Fluffy
who's got the better street cred.
Yeah. Fluffy came from the gutter, but Buddy came literally from the streets.
That's funny.
But yeah, Fluffy is like, he looks like a cougar. He looks like a bobcat, and he's like 13 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
And he still thinks he's a kid.
Poor kid.
Yeah. But they know they run the house. That's why, as much as I like the kind of dogs that I like, I'm definitely a cat person, because I like animals that only like you if they actually like you. Like dogs have a certain codependence where I'm like, I could be completely unlikable and you would still love me. Which I
love the person that feeds them, no matter.
Right. I assume that's the draw for some people to dogs, is that unconditional love. I appreciate.
I think it is.
Right. I appreciate the love of a cat, because that cat does not have to pretend it loves you.
Oh my god. So
Very true.
Yeah, so my friend has 2 cats. One is just an asshole, but he's like an adorable asshole that's like very sweet. The other one runs and hides from everything. The very first time I went over to his house, the cat that runs and hides from everything, like as soon as I called her over, she just came up, jumped in my lap, no problem. And he was just like,
"You're a witch.
Your cat now."
Yeah, you're a witch.
Thank you.
And she's your familiar.
That is my familiar. Thank you very much. And he still has her, and I am mad about it, and I need to get her from him.
So your cat is living in his house.
My cat is living at his house. He had her for 3 years, and then I met her like back in February. And now she's mine, but she still lives in Missouri. It's not fair.
Well, she's doing recon for you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll never get her back. It's fine. Andrew will never leave her. Like, he'll never let me have her. That's just he won't. He loves her too much.
Yeah.
So anyway, you left Christianity in a dream.
Yeah, you left Christianity
Pretty
in a
much.
dream.
All that to say.
All that to say. Well, and it's kind of funny, because the one who saw me off was my version of the devil. The devil was the one at the door who's like, fair travels. Yeah, like, be well. Which, I mean, that's almost like that movie with the Al Pacino movie, Devil's Advocate. Not a very good movie, but that line where he says, "I was the first great humanist," I was like, I didn't forget that line. That line stuck with me. He's like, go on. He's like, go on. Go be good for. It reminds me of the whole argument about whether or not, Christians love to believe. A lot of Christians love to believe that you can't be good without God. The first question you'll get asked a lot of times, and I know you've gotten asked a lot of times, is if you don't believe in a God, if you don't believe in an objective supernatural moral system, how can you be good? And I'm like, didn't you grow up with a Christmas song that said, "Be good for goodness sake"? Literally says, be good for the sake of being good. And, eventually you learn Santa Claus isn't real. So, like, how far of a step is it? Oh, Nat, I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. Did I blow?
Yeah,
I just broke someone's heart.
Santa Claus isn't real.
Charles? What's not a very good movie? I'm confused.
Devil's Advocate.
Oh.
It had it was Keanu Reeves was a lawyer. Al Pacino was like the head of a law firm, but it turned out Al Pacino was actually the devil.
Cool.
And I
almost like Constantine. Love it.
yeah, and I think Charlize Theron played Keanu Reeves' wife, and I don't remember any of the other details about the movie except that that Al Pacino as the devil said I was the first great humanist, because he was the one, according to. I always confuse which parts of my memory of Christianity are actual biblical Christianity and how much is like the fan fiction that got layered on later.
Right.
I'm like, how much of this is Dante's Inferno and how much is actually like biblical scripture?
Right.
But I think it is biblical scripture that well, see, the serpent wasn't Satan, right?
Right.
The serpent was the serpent, and then just later the idea that the serpent was Satan got layered on. But the serpent, all the serpent did was say, hey, if you eat from the tree of knowledge, you'll know stuff. You won't die. And I think that's where that line came from. It's like, hey, I was the one who wanted you to have knowledge.
It's like, I gave you the option to have free will and be smart.
Right.
You chose not to.
Yeah. Well, the tree was not just knowledge. It was specifically the knowledge of good and evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
And that always fascinated me when you get into the argument of whether or not Adam and Eve are responsible for. When you look at whether or not that's a punishable offense anyway, like, hey, don't eat from that. Oh, you ate from that. Now you have to die. Like the question of, they had no understanding of what death was. So they had no understanding of the consequences. And they, before they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they did not understand that defying the instructions of the one that created them was bad.
Right.
They didn't know good from bad.
Right.
So he said, don't eat from that tree. And they were like, like, what's that mean? Is that a suggestion? Like, they didn't know defiance equals bad.
Who's that?
Yeah, and they also didn't know what death was. Like, the literal first two living creatures on Earth had never experienced death, and then were threatened with it. And it's like, you're being threatened with flarbal-gloop. And they're like, cool, what's flarbal-gloop? What?
Yeah.
If I flarbal-gloop, what happens?
It's like when Cain killed Abel. It's like, how did Cain know Abel was going to die? No one had ever done. No one ever died yet.
No one did. Right?
Cain and Abel could have had an argument, and he's just like, I didn't realize that he wouldn't get back up.
I guess so. Before that, Abel was the farmer. Yeah, Abel was the farmer, right? No, Abel was the shepherd.
Cain was the farmer.
Cain was the
Abel
farmer.
Was the shepherd, yeah.
Because apparently, like, asparagus was not an acceptable sacrifice.
It's full of shit.
Yeah, he's like,
asparagus is delicious. That's
God's
a great
like,
sacrifice.
Look, I'm not a vegan, bro. I need protein in my diet. And
motherfucker.
So they would have known what death was, because presumably some of the animals would have died. Like some of Abel's animals, they probably would have killed them.
Well,
huh?
You had to kill them to eat them, right? Or did they think they were still alive? Like when they stopped bang.
Or did they think that they were different from all the other animals? Like, did they think animals die, but we don't?
Well,
did he throw a practice rock at a sheep?
Like,
what happened if I throw a rock at something? Let me practice on the sheep. Oh, it's dead. Perfect. Oh, come here.
It's not moving anymore.
Come here, Abel. Let's go.
It's not banging anymore.
I found the trick.
I bonked it with the dead stick.
Cain doesn't know how to bury a corpse.
Oh, shit,
yeah,
you,
he got caught, obviously.
Yeah. Well,
he just left him there.
I almost wonder if, like, they thought
I didn't know that either. I have to look into that story.
Yeah, it wasn't the act of hitting the thing. Like, I wonder if they thought this, like, if they hit it with a stick, if they thought the stick was magic. Like, this is the life, this is the death stick.
This is the rock of death.
It's the death rock.
It stops you from moving. But, like, what about this rock?
Does this rock have this? And they, like, clink them together.
Are they all rocks together?
Are all rocks holy? They end life. Rocks are bad.
Death rock.
Death rock.
And now we have death metal. So We've come that
yeah, we do. Literally bullets and also death metal.
Right. Listening to Avenged Sevenfold and yeah.
Just a little bit.
Death rock, death metal. What's next? Death tungsten.
Death osmium.
Death.
What's the most solid object?
Death platinum.
Titanium.
I think tungsten's harder than titanium.
I think it probably is
more dense. No.
So like death black hole, right? Because that's the most dense thing you can find.
Yeah.
I'm not chiming in on this. I feel like it would
Death
go
black hole.
Death by black hole.
Death collapsing star.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, I'm going to a concert that's literally called Death, Murder by Death.
Nice.
I'm so excited.
Nice. Well, with America's obsession with guns, I said I wanted to invent a machine gun that shot bullets that were actually little guns, and each of the little gun bullets shot bullets as it was flying. So that's the most violently American thing I could create.
Most violently American thing.
Yeah.
Gunception.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoots, and the bullets are made of bacon somehow.
Yeah,
it's like fractal. It's like fractal firearms.
Oh my god, fractals are amazing. Have you really looked at fractals? I find them fascinating.
Michael Crichton is responsible for my obsession with fractals because when I read Jurassic Park and they were talking, and Ian Malcolm was talking about quantum theory, and they had the pictures of fractals, that was my first exposure, and I was obsessed.
Fractals are amazing. I absolutely love them. I plan on getting like a fractal tattoo at some point. I'm super. I haven't been able to decide whether or not I want it to be like a fern or if I want it to be a shell. Like I can't. I don't know yet. I don't know. I just like I want something that's gonna branch out, and I'm so excited about it.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Yeah. Yes. I want all of the things. I will be covered in tattoos someday.
A shell with the fern growing out of it.
Started the death straw, then sticks, then brick. Every time the wolf pushes technology against it, huffing and puffing.
I think I'm the only one here. I don't have any tattoos.
Someone bought pork-filled bullets to shoot Muslims.
Oh.
Well.
Oh, we didn't even have to do that. We would just dip.
That's just insult to injury. Yeah, just dip it in pork rind and then go.
That's what some of us did. Literally, we dipped it in pork fat,
bacon fat.
Yeah. It's a form of psychological warfare because if they believe that they come into contact with pork, they automatically go to hell.
Psychological warfare.
So if word gets out among these Muslim villages that all the soldiers are dipping their rounds in pork grease, they're less likely to go out and start some shit with them. You know?
I mean, literally, if they get shot, they've now ingested the exact thing that will put them in hell.
Right.
That's exactly.
It's like the U.S. military version of the dagger of venom.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's effective.
It is. Hey.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Effective. Fucked up, but effective.
Right. Isn't that the U.S. military's actual logo or motto?
Fucked up, but effective.
Fucked up, but effective.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's and I come from a big. The only reason I didn't join the military was because I got 4F'd. I come from a huge military family, going back to the Revolutionary War, and
nice.
My wife's family also. I think I was just out of high school. I think it was 1999, and I tried to go in. And in junior year of high school, I had a collapsed lung. So when I went to do the ASVAB, scored extraordinarily well, and they all loved it until they heard about like diminished lung capacity, and they're like, "Oh, thanks for stopping by."
Yeah, that's what mine was like. It's like, hey, I want to be in the Air Force. Great. Here's your test scores. Awesome. Health, bad. No go. Bye-bye.
No, right. Yeah. But then 9/11 happened 2 years later, and I was like, maybe the universe was looking out for me. You know, maybe things happen the way they needed to happen, because if I had been in 2 years in, I'm probably out, you know, in the middle of the desert in the Middle East somewhere, and who knows what happens then.
Well, you'll be dipping your gun, your bullets.
I would have learned about I would have learned about that
You'd be
20
loading
years
them.
earlier. Right. Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. All the bacon grease.
The bacon
Delicious.
grease. Well, I mean, to be fair, the dipping it in the bacon grease, other than being psychological warfare, well, I guess it could have caused infection, right? Additional infection. I mean, the bullet itself is going to cause infection.
Yeah.
So realistically, other than psychological warfare, the bacon grease didn't do anything worse.
Exactly.
Maybe it
It's
lubricated
just a
the bullet
deterrent.
better when it hit the skin.
Would it? So if you dip a
I don't know.
bullet,
I kind of want to experiment now. I really want to dip some bullets in pig grease and shoot them, but I don't want to ruin a gun doing that.
well, I was going to say, did you test? Did it have an effect on the rifling? Because if there's
you put oil in the gun already, CLP oil or lube.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it doesn't.
We're supposed to have a shooting party soon.
And even still, it's not like you're putting hundreds and hundreds of rounds through your gun.
I want to see if I can make a gelatinous mass. See how if penetration of a bullet is better with or without pig grease.
Right.
I am intrigued.
You know, it's for science.
It's for science. I will write it down.
I feel like the round would burn off all of the oil, like as soon as it leaves the chamber.
Does it smell like bacon?
Yeah,
undoubtedly. When you shoot it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Did it smell like burnt bacon when the actually fired?
It smelled like a mix of like bacon and CLP and carbon.
Oh, what a pleasant
very
smell.
very manly smell. Like I
was just gonna say the most American smell imaginable.
Yeah.
Patriotic. That's that smell is patriotic.
That's right. Every morning I go out, I fire one off in the backyard just to remind myself.
To remind myself that I am a white male in America.
That's it. And I hum proud to be an American.
What was that pandery like campaign video? Was it Ted Cruz where he like shot a fully auto, assault rifle or something, and then he like cooked the bacon, he like wrapped bacon around the barrel and cooked it. It was like, oh, America. Like, God, you're a fucking clown. And so
yeah. I don't even know who that was. It could honestly that reminded me.
Ted Cruz.
It probably was Cruz. I know Marjorie. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene had an ad where she was like firing AK-15s or something like that, or AR-15s, and there was a car that she had like painted the socialist agenda on the door. Yeah. And she put the surveyor symbol on it. And I made a video specifically about that because I was like, I'm old enough to remember when Sarah Palin put out a map with surveyor symbols on specifically Gabby Gifford's district. And that was just a couple of weeks before Gabby Giffords got attacked at the courthouse. And I was like, has the Regressive Party really learned nothing, or have they actually learned something? And that's why they're still doing it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that ad, like the car exploded. I'm like, cars don't explode when you shoot them. You need an external combustion. Like you can shoot it right in the gas tank. It's not going to explode.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Are you suggesting that regressives are scientifically inaccurate?
Yes.
I would never make such an accusation.
Never. I would never suggest such a thing.
Like,
I'll let you do that.
Look at the pretty explosion, voters. Just don't ask any questions about my shady policy standpoints. Just look at the pretty fire.
Don't ask about my tweets. Don't ask about my tweets during a live insurrection. Don't ask about that.
Yeah.
Why would that matter?
No.
I haven't kept up on that. I want to know what's going on. I just have so little faith.
Things that, like, if everyone that has worked under Trump has been put in jail for conspiring with something or another, the only way so it's either Trump is absolutely idiotic and has no idea whatsoever what was happening in his own business.
Right.
Or he's a brilliant mastermind. You can't have both.
Right.
And if he's really a mastermind, then that means he's guilty, right?
Right.
But if he's not guilty, then that means he's a dumbass.
Right. Well, that's what I've said.
So then he can't be not guilty and also a mastermind.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, when people
the logic does not stand.
Yeah. When I would hear regressives, they're like, "Oh, he's playing 4D chess," and I'm like, "Well, then he's guilty as sin because everyone under him, like, are pleading guilty. They're not just being found guilty. Like, his personal lawyer pled guilty. His not chief of staff, but the other guy who pled guilty to 8 charges. One of his financial guys from one of his companies just pled guilty to 15 charges of tax fraud.
Yeah, his CFO.
So
and
like,
he took a deal and might testify against him.
Yep, I am waiting to see that. And see, this goes back to, though, I have so little faith in the American justice system that I really, really hope this all, like the fact that he had top secret and CSI documents or SCI documents in a box in a golf course. Like, there is no possibility he should be going to jail. I hope it happens. I don't believe.
Nixon didn't spend any time in jail either,
if it comes down and like there's an arrest warrant,
he also got
he's going to flee
by
the
next
country.
president.
Yeah.
Whereas Trump, if he goes to jail, if he doesn't get pardoned, he's in jail. That's that.
Right. Or yeah, he'll pull a Snowden and hop on a plane
and go to Russia
with some WikiLeaks people, right? Yeah. Or he'll head to where's Melania?
Which would be funny because he's attacked Edward Snowden on multiple occasions.
From Ukraine.
There has been no discussion about. I have heard no discussion about the Melania connection.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
no one said anything. She's not saying anything. She's like disappeared off the planet through all this.
One of the rumors I heard was that she was the one who called in the tip for the FBI raid at Mar-a-Lago, which
him or Jared Kushner, because Jared Kushner was given $2 billion by the Saudis.
Yeah.
And they're like,
for the
why?
Weapons deal, right?
He didn't do anything when he was in that position. Like, he didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Why did he get $2 billion from the Saudis?
It was charity, right?
They already have business dealings over there. So yeah.
Well, wasn't that one of the, when he passed the ban on travel from certain countries, all the countries on the list hadn't attacked us, and all the countries not on the list had Trump properties in them.
Yeah, like Saudi Arabia. The 9/11 terrorists came from Saudi Arabia, but they were not included on the list because he had business dealings with them.
Right. And then Kushner wasn't Kushner involved in us selling more weapons to them too?
Yes, it was.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to not pay attention now. It hurts my brain to pay attention.
This is at least common enough knowledge that we're literally talking about it, and nothing has happened. And so that's when I come back to having so little faith in the justice system.
There's that word again. Faith. Blind faith.
Yep.
Sorry, just throwing it out there.
Oh, this isn't even a belief thing.
Not followed word for word. Oh, how interesting.
This is specifically experience-based, having watched rich people. Now, unless this becomes a Martin Shkreli situation, the reason Martin Shkreli got in trouble was not because he screwed over poor people, millions and millions of poor people. It was because he screwed over rich people. And when you screw over rich people, that's when you get in trouble.
Yeah.
So unless Trump screws over rich people, I will have very little faith in whether or not he'll actually have to face consequences. If rich people start getting in trouble, the story might change.
Yeah, the narrative might change a little bit if that happens.
Yeah,
just a little.
I'm sure he has screwed over some rich people, though. At least
I guarantee indirectly.
It's
just the right rich people. He hasn't. As much as we want to admit it, he didn't exactly screw over the Clintons.
No.
Yes.
No. He kept, arguably he kept Hillary out of a bad situation. Well, no, he inherited a good situation, and I feel like all of her failings aside, at least politically, she would have just continued the decent things. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other subject we could dive into and make me sad.
That's the other thing you're not supposed to talk about at work with people.
Right, religion and politics. Here we are talking religion and politics.
Yeah. Well, we joke at work that sports is the third thing you're not supposed to talk about because it's basically
where people are from.
Right. Well, it's basically a religion.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow it, then like people freak out.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you don't follow? Like, what do you mean you don't watch football?
Yeah, I've had that problem every job I've ever had. They're like, "You watch any sports?" No.
Yeah.
What? But you're a guy. Like,
are you Canadian or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're also a guy.
Like, sorry, I was raised by my mom. I never fucking watched sports.
I was also raised by my mother. I
watched soap operas.
Not the ones you watch, apparently.
You're like, look, we can talk about Luke and Laura all day long, but don't tell me about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We can talk about tennis and golf all day long, but nobody wants to fucking talk about that. You bring up.
You want to talk about the latest episode of Days of Our Lives? I got you covered.
That's right. Yeah. I got one colleague who is an Atlanta Braves fan, and I is a Philadelphia Phillies fan in the same division, and so we are bitter rivals. But the problem is he tries to kind of bust my stones about it, but he doesn't realize that there's no one in the world hates Philadelphia Phillies more than Phillies fans. We're like Star Wars fans in the sports world. So he's like, "Oh, the Phillies are terrible," and I'm like, "Yeah, they are." Like, of course they are. They're the Phillies. They suck.
I was gonna say, yeah, you know what? I totally forgot about hockey. Yeah, I am a religious fanatic about hockey. Unfortunately, that is something. But I'm in North Carolina. No one cares about hockey here.
No. Yeah, we got our Hurricanes. We went to one Hurricanes. We took the 12-year-old. She wasn't 12. She was like 8 then, and it was actually a really exciting game because it was like 6-2. It was a high-scoring game for a hockey game, so it was good. But the coach at the time was Rod Brindamore, who played for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh,
so
who was the one that won?
the Hurricanes won. The Hurricanes actually won that one.
Oh shit!
Yeah, right.
Fucking sucks.
So we're like, we can't go back. She got the best possible experience. It's all downhill from here.
And high scoring game. She got like this amazing coach to watch, and he lost.
Yeah. So we got her a Hurricanes t-shirt that was the Brindamore t-shirt. Aww. So it was both Flyers and Hurricanes.
That's awesome. Yeah. I am a notorious Blues and Hawkeye and Black Hawks fan. So
okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's very hard for me to watch them play each other, but I love watching them play everyone else. So
well, and very much like religion, sports is a matter of where you were born.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Nebraska. We were supposed to be big Cornhusker fans, but nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
The Phillies are my NL team. Obviously, I grew up in Philadelphia, but I picked the Athletics as my American League team, even though they're in Oakland, because they started in Philadelphia. And the town that I grew up in it was like one little storefront, but it was the Athletics Museum, and it had some of their stuff in there. So the Athletics are technically my home. They're my estranged home team.
Aww. My estranged home team.
Anyway.
So, Ricky, tell us about Days of Our Lives.
Tell us about Days of Our Lives. How about the day of your life?
No, I don't want to hear about that.
We don't, but you didn't want to hear about sports, so we inflicted that on you.
We did. I inflicted that upon you, and I am sorry. I always told you I would not inflict my feelings and or faith upon someone else, but I will say, if you think hockey is boring, you're wrong. Anyway, moving on.
There is fighting. As you say, there is fighting.
There is fighting. Yeah, it's like going to a boxing match with a puck that weighs like 3 or 4 pounds. So if it gets hit in the face, it fucking knocks teeth out. It's great.
Yes. It's like if Disney on Ice had a baby with boxing.
Yes. And they wore football gear.
Right.
They wore football.
They need a new marketing scheme.
It's so weird. It's the least aerodynamic speed stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's fine.
So we've covered the nerd. We've covered the heresy.
We've covered the heresy. We've covered the
nerd too.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't really gone full D&D yet, but we could. I don't know. What else do you nerd out about, Cap? What, Tony? What do you do?
Tony, AOT.
AOT, what are you doing?
I nerd out about. I have this weird. It's the ADD. I nerd out about a particular thing really, really hard for an amount of time, and then I move to the next thing. And I feel like I'm chasing a dragon. Yeah, I feel like it's chasing the dragon, but in a non-pharmaceutical way. Because like right now my thing is D&D, and I am all the way in on D&D right now. Before that it was cosplaying, and before that it was running. I was in running real deep for about 4 years. You're right. Before that it was cosplay. Sorry. that was my weight loss program. But so right now it's D&D, but I feel like I move from one passion to the next because it's the challenge of learning a thing. And once I've learned it, then it's like, oh, okay, that's not challenging anymore. Now I got to go find something else that's a challenge.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now the question is, are you one of those that like as you're learning it, you have to teach it to yourself, or you have to figure it out yourself?
Yeah.
Or okay, yeah, because I was like that with a lot.
That's why I've got
I'm obsessed, but you can't teach me. I have to learn it myself.
Yeah, partially. And if I can't find it, I will. That's when I'll go ask for the experts, or I'll go ask for the experienced people. But the first book I bought was Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. The second one and the third one that I got was the Player's Handbook and the DM's Guide. And it was just like reading it, learning all the mechanics, teaching it to myself. Because when I teach it to myself is when I feel like I truly understand it, because I know how I learn things. If someone else is trying to teach me something, they're going to teach me in the way they learned it, and the way they understood it, which may or may not work. And I appreciate the effort. But where was I going with that?
That makes sense.
Oh, it happened. I'll sometimes have a thought and I'm trying to get to it, and then I lose my way. So I'm going to take that thought and put it over here for later, because I'll remember it later.
He physically did it.
Wait. Teaching myself.
Teaching yourself. Yes.
Yes.
We're back to it now.
I found it, yeah. This goes to the idea of like on TikTok and the illusory self, the spirit that I present on TikTok, that I get now that the response to it is people see that as this very...
Oh, did we lose him? Holy shit.
He froze on us.
He's frozen! No! There are some storms rolling through North Carolina right now, so I don't know if we lost him. Because earlier my Wi-Fi wasn't working, but... He was mid-sentence! No! I need to know the answer. What is he saying?
It was storming here earlier, too. We didn't lose any power anymore.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
You had a long day, didn't you?
I did. I've been finishing up my deck.
Everyone bear with us. We're having difficult technicalities.
Technically.
Maybe he'll pop back in. We'll see. If not, then we'll have to bring him in for an open discussion sometime.
Yeah.
Did
awkward silence.
Did you get what you needed done with the deck before everything happened? Or you good? Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Captain's building a deck right now.
Yeah. I put up the rails and the support beams for the rails today. So we're making progress. Been working on it all summer. It's not a fun project. It's not something I'm enjoying particularly. I want to fucking get it done. And then my next project is to rearrange my garage, like entirely. Yeah, so like I have this problem. Like I have my shop on the back wall, and then I have like my gym equipment and like the casting couch, up against the wall.
Casting couch.
And so whenever I make something, the dust floats over and gets all over everything. So what I do,
you need to put your workshop closer to the front.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch them.
That's a good idea.
And then make like that back corner like a little lounge area, like maybe put a little table.
That's a good idea.
Anyway, it's gonna be a huge fucking undertaking, but here he is.
Hey, reborn. Look at this bullshit.
I literally had to
love
update
it.
my laptop, and it's funny because the exact same thing
It has
happened.
risen.
In my fiery form. The exact same thing happened during a one shot with Dustin.
Oh no! He's so frozen.
Yeah.
Is it? He speaks to us from the beyond.
I can hear
Let it
little
go.
bits. Come forth, Tony!
Don't hold me back anymore.
There we go.
Here,
We
I
got
just had to
that.
give show tunes. Show tunes fixes everything.
Show tunes always fix things,
Yeah.
including your time.
We're talking about teaching ourselves, I think, right?
Yeah, you were talking about teaching yourselves. You were mid-sentence and you froze. And I was like, I need the end of this.
Yeah. That I have realized that the version of myself I present on TikTok specifically is an extremely polished version of myself. I'm not quite that articulate in real life. I'm not that knowledgeable in real life. When I make videos on TikTok, the intent is to be informative and educational. And so before I make that, I go and I research that topic. Like the Human Genome Project, specifically, somebody wanted to talk trash about it. And I was like, well, I'm going to find out, one, where you got this foolish idea, and two, explain to you why you're wrong. And so I'll go and I'll research it, and then I'll script it into a specific form that is both fully informative and as brief as possible, because I have a certain presentation.
I don't feel like I put on a character very much when it comes to my TikToks, and I feel like I should.
Well, no, and for me, it's kind of, that was the thing I wanted. That was how I wanted that version of me to appear. So if your purpose on being on there is just to have fun, like, then you just want to be you. Like, that's your purpose. So you're achieving the thing you want to do. The problem is that I'll see in the comments sometimes is like, oh, how can I be that articulate? Or how can, and I'm like, first off, I don't know all the things I'm talking about. And second off, I don't sound this good in real life all the time. Like, it's very prepared. I say in real life, I'm probably, I'm about 75 to 80% of in real life what I am on TikTok. But, so like when you coming on here, I was like, I saw in the other videos, everybody sort of had an expertise. And I was like, I don't feel like I have an expertise. My expertise is running my mouth.
That's a thing. Hey, you know what? There's someone that makes an entire living off that. His name's T-Jump.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, calling him out. Anyway.
I mean, George Carlin did that, right? But George Carlin was scripted, right? He wrote his stuff. He didn't just go out there and just ad hoc that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I've never written a script for any of my videos. But I can only record my videos like one sentence at a time. Like, I just say a sentence and then think. And I'd be like, was it Tertullian that said that, or was it Justin Martyr? It was Tertullian. Okay. And then I'll make there's a video. So like I gotta recall like the details of the information in between takes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never written a script before. Maybe I should.
Yeah. Well, and I used to, before I got the teleprompter, I used to script it and then memorize it. And that caused
a teleprompter?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. My God.
Because memorizing it caused me so much anxiety, because I just psychologically trying to memorize and remember. And I used to therefore keep my scripts no more than 200 words, because I could do about 180 words in 1 minute. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so then when I got the teleprompter, I was like, I don't have to memorize anymore. It just felt like it still will take sometimes as long, but that's because of trying not to trip over the words, because I'm speaking faster than I used to. But oh yeah, I definitely use a teleprompter.
That's kind of brilliant.
Well, I talked to somebody. So my thing for a long time has been, I do everything in one take. Well, the video is one take. It's not cut. Yeah. It takes like 15 tries to get it right, but the final video is one take. I was talking to someone who is has experience in branding and marketing and communications, and we were talking about how videos that have jump cuts apparently statistically perform better. And it's it's this psychological thing that when there's a jump cut, your brain sort of resets. So you don't feel like you've watched for as long. And I was like, I think I want to experiment with that and do like the same video, but do one with jump cuts and one without jump cuts. And just see which one.
Ooh.
See which one performs better.
Charles, I need to know the make and model of your teleprompter right now.
I'll tell you. Yep, it is.
Because we know of someone that would probably benefit from one.
The funny part is it doesn't even have a special name. I think it's, let's see, teleprompter.
I'm Googling the thing. Is it from Amazon?
No, I go into the Play Store. I'm on Android. A teleprompter app for Android.
Oh, Android.
Yeah. It's got an orange square as the logo.
A teleprompter app.
And I think it's by Norton 5 Limited.
No. There's Parrot Teleprompter. There's Prompt Smart Pro. There's Teleprompter for video.
That's the one. Does it have an orange logo?
Has like orange lines going across it.
Yeah. Is it Norton Limited something?
Like that?
No.
There's Parrot Teleprompter, which is an orange logo.
Here's I'm gonna mess up my live for a minute. It should pause the live. Here we go. Pull that back. It is.
Oh wait, teleprompter for video. Is it this one? Hold on. Does it look like this?
That's the one. Yep.
This is the one. We have
That's the exact one. Yep.
I'm judging.
Does that work on TikTok or you?
No. So what I do is I write the scripts and then I'll email them to myself so that I can copy paste it out of the email into the teleprompter app. And then you pull the teleprompter up and the teleprompter uses your camera. I'll actually show you that part.
Interesting. I like it.
Oh, that's the Human Genome Project one. And so this is my camera. This is the script. And then when I hit record, it will just scroll. And so I'm looking basically at the camera while I'm reading it.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Oh my God. This is the game changer for me. Oh
right?
my God.
Oh, I'm getting real. I apologize. I'm getting real close.
This is a game changer. I will be able to do all the things and type up all the other concepts. Because half the time I have like write notes off to the side and be like, and freeze, look at note. And we're back.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I can, and I paid. There's a free version that has the script length is limited to a certain number of characters, but the paid version is like $13 outright. I finally paid it because the creator fund, I had collected enough money in the creator fund to warrant it. I dropped out of the creator fund later. I have theories on the creator
Everybody
fund.
has theories on it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
We're going to need Anonymous to hack ByteDance and get us the actual information.
That would be interesting.
All
right.
I've never had any issues with the creator fund.
No,
I don't think it affected my views or anything.
I don't know that it affected my views. I do know that all of the community guideline violations I ever got were while I was in the fund.
Weird.
And my theory became that because the fund is a finite amount of money, the more people that are in it, the finer the slices become. And so there is a financial incentive for the platform to remove videos from people that are in the creator fund because then they don't have to pay you for them. So I was like, you know what? I'm not earning enough money to actually justify staying in this and dealing with it because it was really frustrating me. So I was like, I'm out.
It's like,
yeah. So then, that alleviates. Mm-hmm.
So I make like somewhere between $30 and $60 a month on the creator fund, and that's I'm unemployed, so that's a lot.
Yeah.
For me.
That is a good point. Yeah. I think I made
I gotta stay in that.
July, August, September, October, November, December. I was in it for 6 months. It made a couple $100. Yeah, something like that.
Not knowing anything about social media, I feel like the creator fund is something made by Joel Osteen. You are not wrong, sir.
Right?
You are not wrong.
Well, I mean, I grew up Catholic. Isn't that just the collection plate?
It is a fund.
It's the creator fund. It's the building
Fund the
fund.
creators. Pass the plate.
Jesus needs your money.
Just pass the plate. That's all we ask. Just pass the plate on down.
Pass it twice.
Twice.
You pass it at the beginning and you pass it at the end.
Yes.
You got to work them up into their emotional fervor first.
You gotta get them all. You gotta get them all primed to feel bad and guilty, so that they're like, "Oh, here's some money. Maybe I'll feel better."
Yeah, that was. It was either. I think it was Eve was framed was talking about that, about the emotional priming for the monetary.
She's brilliant when it comes down to it. Like, I mean, her background story and like, it's her story to tell, and it's stuff that she doesn't mention online, but
okay,
she's got some serious trauma in regards to like how primed she was by her parents,
right? And that's I am fully aware of the fact that being male specifically was contributed to me having less trauma than could have happened, which isn't. I mean, that's not uniform. I definitely know males that had a lot of trauma, but like
trauma is trauma. It's just different. It's just like the risk for a woman was just a little bit higher simply because we were women.
Right. So, and because of the
edging. That's right.
Huh?
Yeah. Eve Was Framed calls the pass the plate, getting everyone primed. She calls it edging, getting them too close to the point.
I thought that's what you said, and I was like,
is that no? Yeah, that's what she says. That's how she phrases it. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the context was. I think that's what
exactly.
I heard.
No, Correa bounced in and told me.
Emotional edging.
Emotional edging.
It's literally it. They're like fucking coming for God. Like it's
right. Yeah. Well, the one. So when I was, this was after middle school, I left. I went to public high school. And it was around that time that my mom stopped going to the Catholic church and started like church shopping and finding all the smaller, the newer, those churches and dragging me along.
It's my narrative. Let's find out.
Exactly. And dragging me along with her to all of them.
Right.
So I was going to all those youth groups
and have male examples in your life.
Right, exactly.
You need to have, you have to have male role models.
Well, and the irony was that my grandfather was my male role model, and probably for all the things I learned about him later was probably like the biggest influence in the person I am today, which is almost ironic because I found out like really, really conservative. And so to discover that all the things he taught me turned me into like basically a very progressive, like red word style student of Jesus is kind of ironic to me and almost like counterintuitively like the universe correcting itself. It's like we had this energy here and we're going to let that energy change form into this energy here.
I have noticed that a lot of people, and I do mean, and I'm going to go into politics on this. A lot of people that are raised by like staunchy Democrats tend to switch to being Republicans later on in life, and vice versa. Those raised by very, very staunchy Republicans tend to switch to Democratic nature. And half of it's like, oh yeah, that's totally teenage rebellion, or it's just my parents were wrong, or but like there's got to be some psychological mojo. Like mumbo jumbo that's a reason as to why we rebel so much that we completely revert what happens. And it doesn't even mean that like we're rebelling. It just means that our opinions are that different.
Well, I wonder if the people who rebel are, I don't know how you would even conduct a study like this. I would wonder if the people who rebel are growing up in situations where they're hearing one thing but seeing something else. And so what they're rebelling against is hypocrisy, or they're rebelling against people not living the example of what
then you wouldn't see as many Christians, would you?
I mean, statistically, there are a lot of people leaving the faith.
We've got to get the youth back involved in the church.
We gotta get them back. Get them while they're young. Wasn't that the joke? Wasn't that the joke in Dogma? George Carlin's like, yeah, get them while they're young. That's why they
Get 'em
created
while
Buddy
they're
Craig.
young. You gotta
Buddy
get 'em
Craig.
while they're young.
Fill those pews, people.
Oh. Well, I am having a blast, but I'm going to be completely honest. I am dead tired.
Yeah, I am passing out over here. I'm not even gonna lie.
I was going to say, Cap's not doing so hot.
I'm about to start doing this number. Oh, that's
Nice.
really interesting.
Some
Yes,
Clockwork Orange going on over there.
we should talk about that more.
No,
Yeah,
I
Tell
would
me
love
more
to-
sports.
I would say we've touched on most of anything. Is there anything that you want to end the night with? Any hard hitting fastballs you want to throw out at the lovely audience, or just spitball in your like plug yourself in your spaces and.
I don't want to plug myself. We talked about that before. We talked about that before. That my brain is of two. I have two minds.
No, plug yourself. This is no
fine.
longer I have like issues. No, you're here, you're talking, plug yourself.
Yeah, I am Cap Without a Country, not reborn. I'm just Cap Without a Country over on TikTok.
He's just reborn because of the freeze.
Yeah, I'm Anthony J. Fuchs everywhere else. Now you've got my real name. I have written a novel that's over on Amazon under my real name. And you know what? I'll tell you what I say when I sign off of my live streams. I say, "You'll see me when you see me, and I'll talk to you then."
That's fair. That's a good one. Well, everybody, I think that's going to be us wishing you good night. Please join us again next week for another episode of Nerds and Heresy. Captain Dadpool, you want to take us away?
We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for joining.
Good night.
Bye.